Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a 1971 suspense film, Play Misty For Me. And this stars Clint Eastwood, Jessica Walter, Donna Mills. It is Clint Eastwood's directorial debut, 1971. This is a Kino Lorber edition that came out November 2020. This is a slipcase, and they provide an alternative on the back to alternative cover, which I kind of like, so I put that on the physical edition. As you can see in the on the cover, is Jessica Walter in slasher position, Clint Eastwood cowering. It's actually an illustration of a very scary scene in the movie. Eastwood is playing a overnight disc jockey. This is in Carmel, California, where Eastwood lived most of his life, and he has had a relationship with Donna Mills. We see him at the beginning of the film outside her house. She's absconded. They've broken up. She's disappeared. He doesn't know where she's gone to, but he's pining away for her, and he expresses the feeling that he wants to get back with her, that she is the love of his life. But in the meantime, and he meets Jessica Walters in this bar, and she is providing an easy pickup, providing easy sex. He's a narcissistic womanizer, so he can't resist it, even though his intentions are to get back with Donna Mills. But Jessica Walters turns out to be more than he can handle. She has mental problems that manifests itself pretty early in the film. He sees it, we see it. What are you doing, Clint? Becomes kind of the audience, but he gets deeper involved because she may be a little disturbed, but it's easy sex that she's providing him, and that's all he wants from her. But she has created this fantasy in her mind that they are in love with each other. So she becomes dangerous. Donna Mills comes back. She's dangerous to her as well. And there's along in between the building suspense, there are these idyllic montages where Eastwood and Donna Mills try to reconnect, and they walk on beaches for very long shots and through woods, and you see a sort of a voyeuristic mode, as if perhaps Jessica Walter is watching this along with us. But there's some significant dialogue in these montages, especially when Donna Mills tells Clint Eastwood that she had to get away from him because she was becoming this jealous woman. This jealousy was becoming a big part of her life, and she even fantasized about doing harm to him. In the extras, there is an incredible video essay by Howard S. Bergen, and it's a long one. It's about 70 minutes long. He interprets this film. He gives it a really close reading on a psychological, mythical, supernatural, spiritual level. And even though I'm not a great fan of close readings, I love to experience the film as if it's kind of a mystery, and we don't necessarily have to understand what every moment of it means. Plus, it's hard for me to imagine that Clint Eastwood and the people that made the film with him actually meant all these interpretations that Howard S. Bergen comes up with in this essay, but it's brilliantly done, and it's one of the best visual essays I've ever seen. It's a work of art unto itself. But one aspect that he covers in this essay is that the Jessica Walter character is kind of a monster that has been created from both Clint Eastwood's narcissistic womanizing and from Donna Mills's jealous girlfriend who wants to hit back at him. So she's kind of a manifestation, a kind of monstrous manifestation that the couple have to overcome in order. They have to deal with that issue and overcome it so that they can establish a fulfilling relationship. And really, when you interpret at least that part of Howard Berger's his reading of the Jessica Walter character, it does really enhance one's enjoyment of the film. This was a interesting time in Clint Eastwood's career. He, of course, became a huge international star in the Sergio Leone Man with No Name westerns. That was not a, it was be hard to sustain such a character in going forward. Eastwood was very ambitious, and he chose at this period in his career, he played in a musical, Paint Your Wagon, with Lee Marvin. And Eastwood's, if you've never seen it, Eastwood actually sings in this movie. And he was also in Paint Your Wagon did not do good business, nor did Beguiled, a movie that was directed by Don Siegel. Many collaborations between Siegel and Eastwood. That was also not a hit, but the two of them did have a hit with Coogan's Bluff before that. And then they would have, after Play Misty For Me, they would have a big hit with Dirty Harry, and which Eastwood's most popular screen persona comes to the fore, where he's this really tough guy, cynical, and with the quips, make my day kind of thing. Audiences really dug that, and he would do sequels to that film. And but Play Misty For Me was a hit movie, and he had Eastwood didn't he wanted to become a director so bad he didn't take a salary, but he did get a percentage of the cut, and I think it came in for under $1 million, and probably earned about $10 million in revenue. So he did okay by his first directorial effort, and it's interesting the kind of character he plays, because I'm not sure he ever played quite this kind of character again. He was very fortunate in his casting of Jessica Walter as the slasher, because she just gives a superb, I think, one of the most memorable slasher performances I've seen. She had been in a movie called The Group, Eastwood, with a whole lot of other up-and-coming rising actresses, and Eastwood saw her in that, and saw a look on her face in one of the scenes, which she's very good. I thought she stole that movie too, and he saw a look in her that really impressed him. So even though she was basically a TV actress, and when most of her career was in television, he decided to cast her in this very crucial role, which he really delivers on. And then Donna Mills had been in a couple soap operas. She didn't know Eastwood and auditioned and read for him, but he was having trouble casting this part. She had a part in Dan August with Burt Reynolds, and Reynolds said, there was a girl in one of my episodes, take a look at her, he liked her, and hired her based on that, and she had never even seen Eastwood or talked to him until the night before the shooting began. So and there's other well cast people in this movie, and of course the Carmel area is also sort of a character in this movie, and sometimes it's almost like he's doing advertisement for Carmel itself. And that's where he lived. He said, I wanted to film it here. I could do it cheaply. Everybody knew me. Everything was filmed on location. Even the interiors. They didn't film anything in Hollywood. I always love those kind of movies that do both the exteriors and the interiors, because you really get a really good sense of pace. So again, going to the extras, the supplements, there's a Howard Berger essay, which I thought was outstanding. There's also a commentary by Tim Lucas. He's always good. He gives you all the information of the backstory. He never loses total focus. So some of the stuff is that some of the information, his analysis of the film is scene specific. There's also a documentary that I alluded to from 2001, and that's with Eastwood and some of the contributors to the film, including Donna Mills and Jessica Walter. And they talked about the experience of making the film. Don Siegel was cast as the bartender in Play Misty For Me. He was kind of reluctant to play him, but Eastwood wanted him around because Siegel was a veteran and mentor, and supporter of Eastwood. So Siegel stayed around through much of the shooting to provide moral support, if not help him out in any kind of thorny situations that might have come up. And then we have a current interview with Donna Mills from, during the COVID, so it's, I guess, a Zoom interview. And she says basically the same things that she said in the 2001 documentary that's included. And there's a bunch of trailers and some other stills and stuff, but overall, the video essay, and you know, it's outstanding, as I said, and also, you know, we get a commentary, we get a pretty good, expansive documentary from 2001. So it's really worth getting, I think. Play Misty For Me from Kino Lorber. And that'll about wrap this one up. And you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you next time.